3 IEMs to complete your chifi collection. In the world of Pokemon, there is always a legendary trio. In Kanto, you have Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. In Johto, you have Entei, Suicune, and Raikou, and so on. In the world of audio, you also have a legendary trio. This time round, a trio of sonic signatures. The mythical bass monster, the popular balance signature, and the elusive neutral beast. So today we're going to complete collecting this trio of signatures with some chifi IEMs. Let's go! So if you're wondering why I sound so strange this week, it's simply because I'm having a cold. But what you can do to cure it is by pressing the like and subscribe button right here down below. Every single like and every single subscribe will make my cold go away a little bit faster. And with that said, let's start with the mythical bass monster. So the IEM that I would recommend for this would be the 7Hz Legato. The Legato is a very recent release from 7Hz that features an intricately machine anodized aluminum chassis. I'm always a fan of metal chassis as they are acoustically resonant compared to plastics, which can dampen the sound quite a bit. It is finished to a gunmetal grey colour. The Legato also features a 2-pin connection as well. The 2-pin cable provided on the Legato is braided and has an awesome hand feel. You do not get too much microphonics from the cable, which is nice as well. It also terminates to a 3.5mm termination. Build quality on the Legato is excellent, especially considering its price point. It feels solid. It fits me also really well and I have no complaints with that. The interesting thing about the Legato would be the choice of drivers used. It features a dual dynamic driver construction that isn't common. One of it is 6mm while the other is 12mm for those of you who are concerned about size. Now in terms of sound, obviously when talking about the bass monster, it does have chunky bass. I enjoyed the deep rumbles of the Legato. Extension on the sub bass is also very respectable and has good gravitas. Bass resonance is quite prominent and sounds really realistic. Mid-bass complements the sub-bass with a good kick that adds shape to the overall bass tonal colour, ensuring texture is refined and well presented. Usually with this prominent levels of bass, it is easy to assume that it kind of blends itself to the mid-range. But I'm happy to let you know that this isn't the case. Mid-range still retains good clarity despite being slightly recessed. It does have a very nice sweet character that plays off the good levels of bass dynamics. Instruments in this frequency band is also very well defined and do not get drowned out by sheer volume of bass. Treble extension is good. It really isn't an airy monster, but I never expected it to be. Treble extends enough for the mid-range to have good shape and provide a good level of micro detail. Cymbals and crashes have enough bite but never lingers around for too long for it to be annoying. Soundstage. Width and height is decent while depth suffers a bit due to the properties of bass, while positioning is still pretty awesome. The Legato will be the most fun pair of the trio as the level of bass just allows you to feel the beat of music easily. I do find that they would probably be not a good fit when you want really fast transients, especially when listening to classical music or instrumentals where transients will be key. Now for the second legendary beast, the popular balance signature IEM. The Simgot EA500 will most definitely suit the title. The EA500 has an excellent metal chassis that is finished exquisitely. I think it really just looks and feels more expensive than its asking price. The chassis also has a mirror finish and has a very nice satisfying weight. It feels solid but light enough for long listening sessions. It again features a 2-pin termination and as such has a 2-pin silver-plated cable that ends its termination off with a 3.5mm jack. The cable is a twisted cable and is overall quite nice. The only thing is that the fittings are made from plastic, which take away the illusion of prestige slightly. I do not find the cable to be microphonic. Now the EA500 is powered by a single dynamic driver. Another interesting thing about the EA500 is that it features 2 nozzles that allows for different tunings. The red O-ring nozzle here is more of a conventional Harman target curve, which plenty of IEMs try to emulate these days. It has generally a very agreeable tone that has a slightly elevated upper mid-range, which is the innate character of the EA500. The black oak ring, on the other hand, has a slightly altered signature. I won't say that it differs too much from the red, but enough for it to be different. It has more of a V-shaped signature that again has the elevated upper mid-range, but overall, they don't really affect the signature of the EA500 too massively. Bass on the EA500 has a very beautiful slam, that has good bass texture as well. It of course does not have the same quantity that is seen in the 7Hz Legato, placing it firmly in the balance category. There is a slight emphasis on mid-bass rather than the sub-bass, but the sub-bass still remains quite prominent as well. Transients on bass frequencies is speedy, that has a delicious resonance without making the IEM too dry. When the bass drum comes in, it delivers quite a satisfying punch as well. The way the EA500 renders bass makes it a very versatile IEM for a large amount of genres. Mid-range on the EA500 has some warmth to them. There is a slight bit more emphasis on the upper mids that allows for more defined outline in the mid-range picture that allows for overall greater clarity. When it comes to instruments in this frequency band, it is also really spacious sounding. Treble extension is actually excellent, it extends well and has an airy character. As such, it adds spaciousness in the sound. Cymbals on the EA500 are rendered beautifully. There is a nice sizzle and bite, but the cymbals do not have too much lingering frequencies that can be fatiguing. A lot of thought has gone into the tuning to make them sound so classy for its asking price. Soundstage. The Simgot EA500 does score pretty well in terms of width and height. I found imaging on the EA500 to be rather wide sounding with good levels of height as well. Depth and positioning is also very good for the price. You get intricate levels of separation which results in good depth in music. I find the EA500 to be a pair of earphones that can basically just suit all genres and does so in a very enjoyable manner. I do find that it is very complete sounding. This will be my easy recommendation for a first IEM to get and would probably be hard to beat in the future in this price range. And lastly, the Elusive Neutral Beast. I bet you guys are probably going to expect me to say this category goes to the True Fierce Hexer, but hold that thought. No, this actually goes to the Etymotic ER4. I just think that the ER4 when on sale can be had at a great price and really suits this genre better anyways. So basically the ER4 looks a little phallic. It is just a tube with an extremely narrow nozzle. The chassis is made from plastic. What is not helping is the phallic design that is the shape of the ear tips. It also comes in an MMCX termination, you know, at the end of it. Cable provided on the ER4 is one that you either can live with or just find it plain annoying. It is quite microphonic, which is not helped by the deep insertion which is required by this earphone. Of course, it is terminated to a 3.5mm termination. One thing that I have to say about the ER4 is that you have to try to wear them over ear, as the microphonics can be quite problematic due to the provided cable as well as the deep insertion. So about the cable, it comes in a 3.5mm overmolded cable that changes at the splitter to be that of a twist that terminates to MMCX. It's kinda okay except for microphonics. In terms of fit, you will really have to get used to the deep insertion nature of this IEM. Depth of the insertion is key as well, as it will very obviously impact the bass of the ER4. Apart from that, the chassis itself is very light and easy to wear if you can get used to the deep insertion. Also, the ER4 has extremely good passive isolation due to the deep insertion as well. Sound. The ER4 has two variants, the XR and SR, of which the SR would be the most neutral of the twins, that for some people can be a little bit too boring. And what we have here today is the XR, which allows for slightly more bass response. Either way, they are both neutral IEMs. What this means is that they do not have an elevated bass response, but have bass that has excellent speed and amazing articulation. One thing to note though is that for some people they can find the ER4 to be a little bit bright sounding. Bass on the ER4 is a very fast and speedy affair. It does not have too many lingering resonance. I would describe the bass to be tight and impactful without the fun resonating bits. As such, bass tends to be a little bit tight rather than voluminous. You get more fundamental frequencies than harmonics with the ER4. Dynamics when it comes to bass is also not a strong suit on the ER4. It hits, but not as hard as the Simgot or the 7Hz. Mid-range. Mid-range is uncolored and for some people can come across as a little cold sounding. Due to the fast and tight nature of bass, you actually get very good articulation and separation when it comes to mid-range. As such, instruments have a very precise imaging. It will be easy to pinpoint where the instruments are in the mix. Also, a byproduct for this type of bass is the amazing levels of detail that oozes from the mid-range. Plenty of micro nuances can be found here as well. Vocals are not tonally thick but offers good levels of detail. Treble on the ER4 has nice extension, but I will not say that they are airy in today's context. But what you get, again, is a very clean presentation. Your cymbals and crashes are crisp and clear, but never grating. And finally, we get into soundstage. The ER4 renders width very well, but when it comes to height, they are not very tall, probably due to the not so dynamic nature of them. Depth and positioning, again, because of its low level of dynamics, it is average at best, but they really have good levels of positioning. I feel that overall, if you want to monitor music using earphones, the ER4 will be a good option as a lot of details are rendered in a manner where it isn't exaggerated. This is the least fun signature of the trio, but great for dissecting music listening for individual instrument minds. And finally, in conclusion, the 7Hz Legato Simgot EA500 and Etymotic ER4 are really awesome picks for a complete lineup of signatures that will cover all situations. At the end of the day, each type of signature has a place when it comes to audio reproduction. If you want fun, just look to the Legato. The EA500 does everything quite well. And finally, the ER4 for the times where you want to be serious and dissect the music. And with that said, I hope you enjoy today's video. If you do, please kindly press the like and subscribe button. It will really help me out a bunch. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye!